"32 NFL teams, 32 fantasy football sleepers for 2019. Here are 32 players who could have a breakout season." Greetings Falcoholics. Fantasy football. Today, I will be highlighting one player per NFL team who I think will likely fly under the radar or be drafted later than he should be in fantasy football league drafts. I will be basing the UQB Kyler Murray. The Cardinals took quarterback Kyler Murray with the first overall pick in the 2019, and he's also my first sleeper, due to this alphabetical list of teams. If there's one thing, UTE. The Falcons should have one of the better offenses in the league in 2019. Between Julio Jones, Baltimore Ravens URB. When people think the Baltimore Ravens, they typically think defense and quarterback Lamar Jackson. The Ravens, UWR. Often used as a safety net in Dallas, signed a 4-year, $29 million contract in March with the Buffalo Bills. Beasley will occupy UWR DJ Moore. The only player I really want from Carolina is running back, but for the sake of a sleeper, I'd take wide receiver DJ Moore. UWR Allen Robinson. Wide receiver Allen Robinson has a creative head coach and a young, improving quarterback in Mitchell Trubisky. In 10 full game, UQB. There's really no clear fantasy sleeper on the Bengals in 2019. Their offense is pretty UQB. Heading into the 2019 season, I don't know if there's a more exciting team than the Cleveland Browns, which is weird to say. Quarterback Baker, UWR. Even with the addition of wide receiver Michael Gallup will be the Dallas Cowboys' number 2 receiver. Cobb will slide in, UWR. I really like the prospect of Courtland Sutton coming into 2019. He's the best out, UWR. I said it last year, and I am saying it again this year: draft wide receiver. Has the potential to, UWR. With the departure of Randall Cobb, wide receiver Geronimo Allison is the clear number 2 receiver on the Green Bay Packers offense. Before an injury, UWR. Before dealing with hamstring issues, wide receiver was a popular short yardage target for quarterback Deshaun Watson. Will start 20, UWR Devin Funchess. After spending time in Carolina, wide receiver Devin Funchess has moved on to Indianapolis, where he will finally have a quarterback capable of throwing him the ball. It's obviously UWR. Before suffering a major knee injury last preseason at home against the Falcons, I was at that game, was expected to have a huge role in the Jaguars' offense. A great route runner with good speed, and he should see a significant amount of snaps in 2019. With the Jaguars next, Kansas City Chiefs UWR Mecole Hardman. A lot of your Georgia fans are familiar with this guy, wide receiver Mecole Hardman. He's definitely, obviously, he's very fast, but he's working on everything new: route running, really getting accustomed to the offense, Mahomes said. I was very excited, UTE. Chargers quarterback has a long history of utilizing his tight end, and with Gone, watch out for. As I mentioned earlier, UWR. Last year I had in this spot, and we all witnessed the season he went on to have. With that being said, UWR. Regardless of whether it's or who starts at quarterback for the Dolphins, they finally have a decent option who can throw. Of the current Dolphin, UQB. If you're like me and wait until a later round to draft your quarterback, Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins is a great option if available. In each of the past, UWR and N'Keal Harry. With their first pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Patriots selected wide receiver N'Keal Harry. With the team losing, New Orleans Saints UTE. As I've exhaustively mentioned in this article, the tight end position in fantasy football is a wasteland. In 2018, UWR. The only Giants players I want are running back and tight end Evan Engram. If I must take some UTE. Again, the tight end position in fantasy football is horribly thin. Chris Herndon, URB Josh Jacobs. After Isaiah Crowell tore his Achilles recently, the competition for rookie running back Josh Jacobs has all but disappeared. Jacobs will like Philadelphia Eagles UWR. The Eagles finally have a deep threat option again in the form of the pass-happy UWR James Washington. With Antonio Brown now in Oakland, James Washington instantly becomes the Steelers' best wide receiver not named. Washington is a URB. He's technically not a sleeper, but I am very excited to see what Kyle Shanahan does with Tevin Coleman in 2019. He's the best running UWR DK. Metcalf is gone, and the only other wide receiver quarterback can rely on is Tyler Lockett. I am not sick UWR. With Deshaun Jackson and both gone, wide receiver Chris Godwin instantly becomes a great flex option at worst. With Mike Evans, UTE. After breaking his ankle in Week 1 of the 2018 season, tight end Delaney Walker is currently flying under the radar. The expectation, Washington team URB. Adrian Peterson was a big surprise in Washington last season. When rookie running, well, that's it folks. As always, related slides show the best of the 2019 NFL OTAs provided by Iman.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.